Alrighty, fellow Travel Dons, welcome back to Adventures of a Traveling Don and our continued series here in the Balkans. We are still here in Sofia, Bulgaria. And if you watched the last video, I did a big old food tour across Sofia. Today, we're going to do a city tour and learn a little bit about history of this beautiful city and the capital of Bulgaria. So the history of Sofia is fascinating. I highly recommend looking all of that up to kind of do a deep dive into it, because I know I can't do it full justice. And you could probably do a 2-hour, 3-hour video just on the history, like just the basic history of Sofia, because this area goes back to Neolithic times when it comes to people being settled here. And of course you have antiquity. Romans were here at one point in time. There was 2 different Bulgarian empires interspersed in between this area being run by the Byzantines for about a century. And then of course centuries worth of Ottoman rule as well, and then during the 1900s obviously Soviet rule for about 50 years. So it's fascinating, the history. So we're going to explore a lot of like historical like churches and stuff like that. I don't know if I can get into the mosque, but we'll at least see the mosque from the outside, because this is an area, because it was Ottoman at one point in time, because it was Byzantine at one point in time. You have Eastern Orthodox, you have Islam, you have Catholic Church, you have so many different religions and cultures that kind of mesh here in Sofia. And I think that's why, like, if you watch the food tour video, there is a lot of food that you can kind of see bits of it from other places outside of here. So, but it is very, very beautiful city. Has a mixture of Eastern and Western architecture, and you'll just enjoy it. Just enjoy this tour. So if you are going to start anywhere when you explore someplace, might as well start at the beginning. And the oldest architectural monument that still stands here in Sofia is right behind me, and that is the St. George Church. That goes back to, I believe, the time of Constantine the Great, which is the early 4th century AD. So it's got quite a bit of history to it. I think it was officially consecrated as a full Christian church under Justinian during the Byzantine Empire. But it is absolutely gorgeous inside. The artwork is amazing, and the fact that it still stands, that whole rotunda top, it's just, it's a beautiful, beautiful building and great history. Again, when you go in there, definitely take the time to really truly delve into it. It's a fascinating history. It's a beautiful building. So in between the St. George Rotunda Church, which is that way, and then the Banyabashi Mosque, which we'll head to next, right over there, this is right here called the Serdica Archaeological Park. And it's just basically this strip of ruins from the 4th century AD Roman period. And it's just free to kind of walk down. You can walk through the ruins, and they have little plaques and stuff that have some of the history of some of the buildings here. It's just really, really kind of cool. And just remember that name, Serdica, was the original name during the time of the Roman Empire of Sofia. And I think that name stuck around well into at least the 15th, if not the 16th century is when they fully transitioned to Sofia. There was a period of time where people used both Sofia and Serdica. So, like I said, Sofia's changed hands so many times, had a couple different Bulgarian empires, Romans, Byzantines, Ottomans, you name it. So, but it is kind of cool, you know. It's usually when you go places like this in Greece and stuff, you have to get a ticket and whatnot, or it's kind of roped off. You can actually come in here and walk around in the old ancient Roman ruins. So we're not able to go into this one, but I did want to point it out. The Banyabashi Mosque was a 16th century Ottoman mosque that was actually built over thermal springs. So I don't know if initially the building, or if they built on top of maybe a Roman bath or something like that, but that's kind of cool to think about. But like from the outside, it looks absolutely fantastic. I know you can go inside in most cases. Today, I think they're just closed. It is a Saturday, and it's close to Christmas, although Christmas doesn't mean anything in Islam. But even still, You can generally go in there at certain times, just not during prayer times. And I think it's like $16, like 30 lev or something like that I saw online for tickets. But anyway, yeah, just from the outside, really, really nice. So our next stop is the Ladies Bazaar, and I don't even know if I said that right, but basically it's known as the Ladies Bazaar. It's an open-air market that is the oldest market in Sofia. It dates back to about, I think, the late 1800s, right around the time of liberation from the Ottomans here in Bulgaria. So you're thinking about 130, 140 years old. So, but it's in an open-air market, so we're gonna go ahead and check it out. So when you're at a food market, you might as well get something. And to me, I got myself a little bag of dried apricots. Just, ooh, look at that. Oh. Those are so good. And very fresh too. Fantastic. I'm gonna take those home with me. Enjoy those in the next couple days. This place is heaving, and it goes on for quite a ways. Like, it's just a long stretch of street that goes all the way down. I think they said there's about 60,000 people per day visit the ladies market. It's just, yeah, this is really kind of cool. If you're staying here in Sofia for an extended period of time and you need particularly like fresh fruits and veggies, it's definitely the spot you want to come down to. Honestly, one of the things I love about Sofia that in my time so far has literally just been walking around the city, because you get areas that have a lot of grandeur, you know, like the city centers, all the big churches and government buildings and stuff, got a lot of mixture of like Western and Eastern European architecture. And then you have like these like little neighborhood areas like on the north and south side, which are just kind of like more quaint. There's a lot of like street art along the walls and stuff that are just, it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, I have really fallen in love with this city. You guys might be looking behind me and going, oh, Ben, not another church. Oh, believe me, it gets worse. There will be more to come. But that's the thing is, here in Sofia, and like many places around the world, particularly in Europe, a lot of its history delves around religion, particularly the church. And the one behind me is the St. Nicholas Miracle Maker Russian Orthodox Church. First and foremost, beautiful piece of architecture. Inside is amazing. They didn't allow me to do any pictures or video. There wasn't even a sign for like money or something like that, like the St. George Church. But it is absolutely gorgeous. It actually would have been hard to film in there as well, because something I've noticed about Greek and Eastern Orthodox churches, a lot of them are rather dark inside. They don't light them up, like particularly more of the Catholic churches and the Western style European churches. So, but I do highly recommend checking out, just come get a picture of it and then go inside and just look around. The artwork is beautiful from what you can see. And it's just kind of cool to be in kind of like that more dark and like haunting kind of vibe. So, but yeah, awesome church. Also, this whole area around the St. Nicholas Church, this is where we're back in kind of like the main cultural central district of Sofia, Bulgaria, because you have that one we'll be going to in just a minute, the massive church here in Sofia. But I mean, over on the other side of this building, you have the National Art Gallery, and I think you have like further down over there is Central Park, and where we've been before in past videos. That's where the Christmas market was. That has, of course, the National Theater around there. You have government buildings around here. It's just, this is sort of like the heart and hubbub of Sofia, and it's just, it's gorgeous. He's rather intimidating. Alright, so the church behind me, and this is what I would call the Mac Daddy of churches here in Sofia. This is the St. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, and my God, is it fantastic. Like, first and foremost, outside, this Eastern Orthodox cathedral is a testament to architecture. I mean, just, you look at it, it's just, it's amazing. You can get great shots from either end of it, you know, back, sides, whatever. It is fantastic to look at from any angle. And then, of course, going inside is just, oh man, you talk about, it's got these massive chandeliers that light up the place just enough to kind of give you, you know, a decent look at the artwork, but still kind of keep that mild, like, shadow, like, mystery, darkness. And it's almost kind of like very humbling to be in there. It's really kind of cool, absolutely gorgeous. And it's actually, interestingly enough, one of the youngest churches, I think, in Sofia, because this one wasn't, I think the cornerstone wasn't laid until like 1882. So it is much younger than, obviously, the St. George Church that we went to before. But it is easily one of the best churches I've ever seen. And as far as I'm aware, I believe this is the largest cathedral on the Balkan Peninsula. So, another fun fact for you. So now that we have fueled up, warmed up a little bit, we're now back out, and we are going to be walking through a couple of the parks here in Sofia. There's several different ones throughout the entire city, which has been great. You know, while I'm here, if I need to kind of get away from the hubbub of the city itself and all the people, just come to any one of these parks. A lot of these parks are absolutely massive, and you can kind of just get lost in them. So, like this first one here is Zaimov. This is actually one of the smaller parks, and even still, it covers several blocks going all the way around. And as you can see, there's not many people here right now. Obviously, I'm here during the winter time, so there's gonna be less people out and about. Also, you're not gonna see as much, you know, lush green. Eventually, there's a garden that will kind of pass by. I'll point it out. That's supposed to be a rose garden. Obviously, during winter time, there's no roses. So there are things about these parks that are worth seeing at different times of the year. But even still, it's really nice to kind of get out and just walk through a park. So keeping with our park theme, we've now come to what I think is the largest park in the city of Sofia, and that is the Borisova Gradina. And it is an absolutely massive park. I've walked through a good chunk of it in the last couple of days just to explore. It is huge. So we'll kind of go through it. But this north side is kind of like one of the most prominent spots, particularly during the summertime. Like, I'm here at the wrong time when it comes specifically to this, because this is the Rosarium. It was built between 1906 and 1934. And as you can see right now, it's pretty much dead. But I've seen pictures of it during the summertime when it's in full bloom. It looks absolutely gorgeous. So even though I'm not personally here to see it, I do want to point it out. So when you guys come here, if you're not here during wintertime, if you're here from late spring through maybe early fall, before the flowers die off, it's from the pictures I saw, it looks amazing. And apparently the rose is one of the symbols of Bulgaria, because back in antiquity, of course, the Persian Empire was one of the earliest empires that basically made rose oil. Eventually, I think after the conquest of Alexander, some of his soldiers brought it back to the Balkan Peninsula, and you started to get roses in the Balkans, particularly in Bulgaria. And for a long time, Bulgaria was actually known as the world leader in rose oil production and distribution. I think that ended in 1983 when it came to them being #1. They still have a lot of production when it comes to rose oil, but still, it's just kind of a nice little history about it. And like I said, from the pictures I've seen, definitely well worth coming to this park and checking out the rose area, because even just imagining it with these walkways and the way that they set everything up, it must look absolutely breathtaking. So the next point of interest here in our tour of Sofia is still here in the Borisova Garden, and that is behind me, the Mound of Brotherhood. And it's interesting because I kind of read up a little bit about it, and it's rather kind of a controversial monument, because it is a monument that was built in 1956 during the Soviet occupation of Bulgaria. And the monument is dedicated towards communist fighters during the time of Nazi Germany and, of course, the fascist rule of Bulgaria during World War II. So it's kind of a fascinating thing, because it all depicts communist fighters fighting against fascism. But eventually, you know, communism came to rule over Bulgaria, and that didn't last more than maybe 40, 50 years, because Bulgarians didn't like the communist Russian rule either. So it's an interesting monument. There was actually, I think, back in like the late 1980s, when the communists were driven out of Bulgaria, they did want to get rid of this monument to Soviets, but like, I think what ended up happening was they got rid of the track, because this used to be like a paved stairway that came all the way up here to the monument with like rose beds and stuff and alongside it. And they basically got rid of that, and then I guess for some reason stopped. So you still have the monument and this platform here, but you just have this kind of like muddy track coming all the way up. So it's interesting because like I said, I looked up not just the history, but reviews, and some people kind of praise it for a fight against fascism, but also the fact that it was built during Soviet time. It is a Soviet era monument, and there's, you know, conflicted, if not bad feelings, depending on who you ask about that time. So, but still, it is a fascinating, it's a very well done obelisk. The sculptures are fantastic, but it is an interesting historical point here in Sofia. So since today's video theme is all about history, I figured when it came to food, we would also delve into the history. And this place right here that I'm at is a traditional Bulgarian restaurant, and I believe it is, if it's not the oldest, it's one of the oldest restaurants standing in Sofia. It was built in 1926, so as of shooting this, you know, about 97, almost 98 years old. And it's called Podlepite, and it's like right across the street from Borisova Park. And it just, you walk up to it on the outside, and it's this green building that sort of just stands out. It looks like a house in the middle of this neighborhood. It's far enough away from the city center where it's not super trafficked by a lot of tourists. It's a lot more locals when you come in here, but it's just this quaint little spot. I believe all their stuff comes from their own farms, or as much of it as they can get, and then they have a lot of other local providers that they get all of their produce, and particularly their meats and cheeses from. But it looks really nice. I ordered a couple things, so we're waiting on that. But figured I'd get, after being out in the park for a couple hours in the cold, get a little rakia to to warm myself up. Ooh, oh, that's much smoother. I think this one is specifically from a couple of brothers that have a winery between here and Burgos. It's called the I think it's the Minkoff Brothers or something like that. But that's actually really good rakia. Oh yeah. I cannot wait for this food. All right, so food has arrived, and I am super, super excited. We got two dishes that we're gonna try. First and foremost is, this was actually on their specialties menu, and this is a traditional pumpkin soup with mushrooms in it, and it just looks absolutely amazing. So pumpkin, I believe the name is called tikva. So I couldn't find a specific name for this dish that I could read properly. Still working on Bulgarian. But so I'm just gonna call this a tikva soup. So nice creamy pumpkin soup with a little mushroom in there. Let's try that. Oh my god. That is delicious. And that mushroom has just got a nice little mild meatiness to it. Not super chewy, very soft. With kind of like the light sweetness of the pumpkin. Wow. That's really, really, really good. Particularly like a cold day like this, that pumpkin soup is bomb. And then the second one that we have is basically, these are grape leaf wraps with rice, and I think it's like a little bit of meat in there, like just little bits of like pork or something like that. I know in Greece they're called dolmades. Here, I can't remember the name of them, but we're gonna try them real quick. Wow. That's so good. It's simple, it's easy. I'll try it with a little bit of this sauce. Oh, that's really good. I think it's like a yogurt sauce or something. Yeah, that is really good. Actually, let me look that up. I know I had it saved for a second, so I knew exactly what it was. Sarmi. They're called sarmi. Oh man. This is all so delicious and very, very much Bulgarian. All right, so after that delicious food, the rakia, and that just cozy, warm environment, I almost was like, I was starting to nod off. I was like, oh my God, I'm so warm and cozy and comfy right now. But I had to smack myself and get back out. So we're gonna head back towards the central district because we're a little bit further south. So we're gonna head back to the center and back where we started to finish off this video here in Sofia. Alright guys, so I figured we would end it where we all began, here at St. George's Church, as the sun is about to go down here in beautiful Sofia, Bulgaria. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, all the history that we kind of went over. If you've been to Sofia and you know about its own history, kind of put down in the comments things that I missed, things that people should see when they're here in Sofia, Bulgaria. But I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. And of course, if you want to help support the travels, I do have a Patreon page as well as a Buy Me a Coffee account, and I do appreciate all the support. Thank you so much, guys. We're running up on Christmas here as I'm filming this, so Merry Christmas to you guys. Until I see you again, peace out and have a great night.